All right, so what's up, guys? So clearly the market had a really strong green day today as well. The battle of 4:30 on the SPY continues. We had a morning of choppiness, and then once the market chose a direction, it really chose a direction. So we're going to talk about the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, and the crypto markets. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. Number one, the SPY on the daily chart is continuing to maintain above this uptrend. Ridiculously strong, continuing to maintain above it, right? But tomorrow, to maintain above the uptrend is going to be 431. That is a possibility because FOMC minutes come out tomorrow at 2 p.m. So we could, obviously, I'm sure you all know that any sort of bullish news can easily skyrocket the market up to like 434 to 435. So that is still a possibility that we hold above this uptrend. Number two, what is also interesting is that the SPY tapped the 200 simple moving average and it failed to cross above it and close. That remains the second key level of resistance. So intraday, we came and tested that level, but we couldn't close above it. And we also could not close above 430. So obviously, that's not what bulls want to see. So most likely, in a healthy, normal market environment, honestly, I mean, like, we should be seeing 427. But I mean, since FOMC minutes come out tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, it all depends on if futures and everything open up a bit red. But 427 would be a good pivot point. We should fall to 426.50 to 427 prior to the FOMC meeting, and then from there, it would make sense for them to rip it up, and they should be able to rip it up to like 430. But for them to continue, that's what I'm assuming is going to happen. All right, but for them to just continue to just keep it bullish, and then bullish leading up to the FOMC meeting, right? And then with bullish FOMC, like the minutes themselves, if they're bullish, then we're gonna really skyrocket. So I don't think they want it to skyrocket, especially, so basically, if the minutes are going to be bullish, then they do not want the market itself to be super bullish preceding the minutes, because if it's bullish preceding the minutes and the minutes themselves are bullish, then the SPY is going to hit 435 tomorrow, and then by the end of the week it should be like 440. That could be a possibility, but there's a lot of different scenarios and everything like that. Just keep it very simple. We're trading above this uptrend, but we're failing to close above this 200 simple moving average. Also, it's very risky to hold anything through the FOMC minutes. So there's that. And also the second thing, well, not the second thing, but the other thing is that usually on the days of when there's FOMC minutes or meeting, the IV on the contracts are also very high. And because they're high, what we saw earlier this morning, the market was very choppy. So that choppiness can also translate into tomorrow as well. So be aware of that. But truly, I mean, the same levels as yesterday really still apply. The only difference is that FOMC is going to be tomorrow. The MACD basically looks similar to yesterday. The RSI is very overbought. But yeah, so now this 200 simple moving average, all eyes on that level. But yeah, there's nothing else for me to say about the SPY. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. So now what's interesting to see about the NASDAQ is that it is still very far away from the 200 simple moving average. So there is still a lot more room to go on the tech sector in terms of growth. So there is so much more room to go in terms of the 200 simple moving average. If the market itself is very bullish and the FOMC minutes are bullish, then the NASDAQ is going to get a lot of love, in my opinion, because it's still very far away. But yeah, regardless, The MACD is still strong here. You could see that it just crossed above, similar basically to yesterday as well. Had a bit of a doji candle because the minutes, right? But overall, it's basically the NASDAQ was the biggest loser today. The IWM was a bit stronger, and then the SPY was the big winner. So really, once again, we're still maintaining above 330. We're holding above 332. Still, everything seems good, but all eyes are going to be on the minutes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. That'll give us a better understanding of whether or not this uptrend is going to continue. All right, so that's that for the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the IWM. So we can see the reason why the SPY is close to the 200 simple moving average, but the NASDAQ is not, is because the IWM is trading above the 200 simple moving average. And it's now had 3 closes above the 200 simple moving average. So that is extremely bullish. And basically, the reason why I was also saying is the IWM led the move so far is because obviously we are trading much higher relative to where the NASDAQ and the SPY are. So once again, we closed above 200. Very, very decent close. But overall, it was a bit of a doji indecision day because of the minutes tomorrow and because we've skyrocketed so much already. And now there's also a lot of news of, various bigger players selling their stakes in companies and taking profits. So people are starting to be very cautious now that the market has bounced about 25%. The IWM has bounced about 24%, whatever. So people are now starting to take profits because they're still bearish on the overall economy and the market. So they expect that the market is going to fall. So 200 remains a very, very important level. So now, I mean, really, we just have to see if 200 remains on the IWM, if 330 to 332 remains on the NASDAQ, and if, 425 can remain on the SPY. If those levels still remain tomorrow, then this is a really, really dramatic, strong move to the upside, in my opinion. And it can continue. And then the SPY, if the SPY can reclaim the 200 moving average, then the NASDAQ is going to end up catching up as well. And by that point, heading into the end of the month, if this can maintain itself heading into the end of the month, funds are going to start selling a bit of their IWM positions and start loading up a bit heavier into the NASDAQ positions because the NASDAQ is still lagging. So there's still so much more room to the upside on the market. And we are continuing to buy dips at these levels of support. And until proven otherwise, and until these levels of support are broken, until the momentum shifts, and until we get like intelligent reasons to go short, there's no reason to do that just yet. So yeah, there's no reason to try to catch any tops. There's no reason to fight institutional buying power. All right, I hope I did a good job explaining that for the stock market. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto market. So we're showing some weakness in the stock market. And obviously it takes a bit more dramatic show in the crypto markets. So, really, I mean, there's not really much to look at. It's 23,600 needs to hold the support. And all eyes are going to be on the FOMC minutes tomorrow. Again, you can still see the problem here is that Bitcoin breaks above these wicks, but we can't get closes above the wicks. So once we get one solid daily close above 25,000, I would argue, if a daily close above 25,000 happens, then that can be very, very bullish. And once again, if the stock market continues to be bullish, then Coin, Mara, Riot, these other random companies, the mining companies, and longer term Beto calls are going to do really, really well because Bitcoin is lagging like crazy. You can see how far away it is from the 200 simple moving average compared to where the SPY and the NASDAQ are and the IWM are. Bitcoin has a lot of room to go. Bitcoin is 36% away from the 200 simple moving average. So if Bitcoin can start moving, it's going to start moving like crazy. And I think a lot of this has to do with the continued strength and the positive sentiment in the SPY. If there is truly positive sentiment in the SPY, then Bitcoin would already be showing that. But Bitcoin isn't really showing that for two reasons. Number one, it could be because people aren't actually bullish on the stock market. And number two, it's the reason I've been saying is that there's a lot of inbuilt messed up stuff going on in the crypto markets, for example, with Luna and all of the other debacles. So, and because it's like not regulated, so a lot of different companies can get away with a lot more. And that's another reason why there is less confidence in the crypto markets. But the fact that we're so far away, intelligent investors and whales, if the stock market can hold above, if after this FOMC minutes, the stock market and the SPY ends up breaking and holding above 435, 435 to 440, like I think you'd have to be an idiot not to want to try to buy the dip in Bitcoin at this point, because relative to where the SPY is compared to what Bitcoin should be doing, Jesus, like Bitcoin should be at like 40K. So it's going to be really interesting for crypto, in my opinion, in the next few weeks, if the SPY can continue holding up. All right. But with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. I hope you guys made money today, or you didn't lose a lot of money today. And yeah, I'm gonna be live again tomorrow morning. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Have a great day.